Hi, this is Top K Dramas with Bruce and Alice.
Hey,
Extracurricular. We finally finished Hello Me.
we did.
Extracurricular. We're going to do episodes 2 and 3
Yes.
on this episode. We watched episode 1 a while ago.
Yeah.
So I might need you to help me remember what happened.
If I can remember.
Okay, you have your 3 sentences for episode 2.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so Jisoo gets his trap phone stolen. Anyway, I'll explain the trap phone thing later on. Giri manipulates Jisoo with his own phone, and then Giri shows interest in Jisoo's business by recruiting some new talents. I think that'll work.
Okay, so we have the intro here where I've been calling her Ree.
We will work.
We see her get up 4:50 in the morning, and I don't know the culture in South Korea, if that's like normal that students get up really early to get to school. I don't know. Our kids started. Well, my Alana, she's the only one in public school now. She starts at 8 in the morning. But actually, yeah, so she's not getting up that early. So I don't know if it's high school they start early or anyways, because 4:50 to us, like it's like woo.
Yeah, that's very early.
But we get this intro of her and her parents, and I think that's important because even though I think her parents seem really great.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently they have a business. She's going to be a CEO.
Yeah.
That she's going to take over the business.
She's rich. The family's rich.
We know that. Yeah. But they seem to, for Ree, they drive her too much. It seems like it's too much for her, and she doesn't complain. She is very compliant to what they want, because as soon as she gets up, her father seems cool. He's making this big breakfast, for the mom. I'm assuming it's mom and dad, and gives her some green juice and says, for a perfect figure. And then the mom right away goes, "Did you read that book about CEOs?" And then we see her have that, she's scratching her thumbs.
Yes.
That. Yeah. What do you call that? Like some type of nervous, I don't want to say nervous tick, but if it's, you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually kind of that. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know the name for it, right? But it's definitely some like compulsive behaviors.
Yeah.
I suppose that would be a way of understanding.
Anxiety, angst.
Anxiety.
Yeah, to the point where they're bleeding.
Bleeding and bad. I mean, it's like.
I know, it could even look.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, I don't want to minimize it, but a manicure, I don't think would even fix what's going on there. Because, I mean, people, I know people like this, and so this is like the whole setup with the family, right? It's like her parents. I'm really intrigued with the juxtaposition of parents, and we'll talk more about Jisoo's father. We get introduced to him in this episode, and I'm really interested in the juxtaposition because it's like these parents seem well-intentioned, like you said, right? And yet at the same time, they're not being very, what's the word, responsive to Ree. Right, it's like understanding that they may be pushing her too hard, or it's like chill, let her relax, let her, but as you read in your that book about South Korea and stuff like that, it's like, look, that's a high pressured, super efficient society, and so therefore this is high pressured, super efficient. This is how we're going to do things.
How a loving family does it.
This is exactly. It's like, I mean, that's how they're showing love. They're showing love by saying, we're going to prepare you to be a CEO now, while you're in high school, and
asking her, to go to the board meeting. But they're not really pressuring her. I mean, they're not. We've seen other dramas where there's more pressure. They're kind of asking her. Like, can you go?
but there she's really not asking.
No, I know, but
That's like you asking the kids to clean their room. You're not asking them to
but
clean
I'm
their
saying,
room.
I'm saying compared to other dramas that we've watched,
It's a bit more forceful.
it's relative. It
Mhm.
really is relative to that culture.
Yes.
So that's all I'm saying is like, I'm trying to look at it through their eyes, that the parents are really loving. This is their loving way, of not saying you're going to you better be there,
Yeah.
like we've seen in other dramas. They're,
True.
they were asking, like, making sure she didn't have anything else,
Mhm.
and then she's so compliant, and I can see where the stress can build up
Right.
because and then you see it, right?
Yeah.
We totally see it when you have that little, when she shoots her parents with the
Yeah. She
you know,
she
and then she eats the bacon. And so
she's used to being in control and very controlled at the same time, and it's driving her nuts. Like that's
wow.
where we're kind of going with that's what I feel like is kind of going with her motivation. I hate the motivation. I understand the motivation, but it drives me. This these two episodes drove me absolutely nuts. I do not like her character and her motivation. I do not like it at all. I understand it. I understand it perfectly. I don't like it. I'm having a hard time with it. I really
Maybe,
am having a hard time.
okay, so I don't know how to put into words how I felt about these two episodes, but maybe that's it. Because I was thinking, oh, I feel like the drama was it's going in a different direction that I didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
My feelings, and I'm not sure yet what they are, but I know I was thinking, oh, I think this is going in a little bit of a different direction than I expected to,
Mm-hmm.
with Ree and her motivations and everything she's doing.
Right.
That kind of, I was like, I put a guard up, ready to watch this,
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, you went on about like exploitation.
I know.
Girls and everything, and
I was ready. I was getting ready.
They definitely took a left turn on that one.
And the next two episodes wasn't even really about it.
Yeah, it's the setup. No, it's gonna get bad. I assure you, it's gonna be bad in a little bit, but it's gonna be bad for different reasons.
It took a little bit of a detour, and so I'm trying to figure out, where it's going and what my feelings are, and I'm like, wait, what is this really about?
Yeah.
The parents, they talked a lot about the parents and parents that aren't there. Remember the first episode, like I was raised by the wind.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what are they really trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
You got parents that weren't, in the beginning, we didn't know his parents weren't there.
Right.
And then you have her parents who seem to be loving, but yet look at her and look at the results.
Yeah, remember, this is social critique at its finest. I do enjoy the writing, because if you can make me hate a character that much, then that means you're writing it very well. I cannot stand her.
Okay.
I can't stand. It's like everything about her I cannot stand, and that means that they're writing it well.
So let's talk more about this. Let's see what happens by the end of episode 2. What comes out?
Yeah.
Because I need to talk my way through it.
Yeah, of course.
To see how I'm really feeling. So
we need more information for y'all to understand why I don't like her.
Yeah,
it really is. You need more. We need more.
So she has Sue's phone. Sue is the main character.
Just jocked his
phone.
Oh, his trap phone. Right? That's what I'm calling it.
And she's trying to figure out his password, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen a few other shows, like I was watching Criminal Minds, and of course it's a few years old.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out passwords, and she's trying to figure out his password, and I'm like, come on, can you really figure somebody else's password? Mm-hmm. There's no way anybody would figure out my passwords. It's just really
not real people in real time, and certainly not her. But I think she actually did something relatively straightforward, which is she looked at him while he was doing his phone.
So maybe she kind of remembers.
Yeah, because all you really have to do is just kind of see where the fingers are going, right?
So now we see, and there's a scene where Ree is talking to Sue in the classroom, and the other students are like, "What's going on over there? Why is a perfect person talking to a loser?"
yeah,
So it's a little kind of, you get, an idea of who they are and how they're seen in the classroom at school.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me because isn't Jisoo the number one student in class? And so it was like for him to be portrayed as a loser like that, it's just really interesting to me. Like I said, it's like there's definitely this hidden arc, and we'll talk more. It's not even hidden, honestly. It actually slaps you in the face in episode 1. The thing is, I don't know if you believe it yet. Like for real, like this thing is a critique on like capitalism and what it's doing to the Korean culture. It's a critique of capitalism. It is absolutely hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but it's a critique of what capitalism is doing to South Korean culture. That's what I mean, and they hit you with that with a baseball bat in the very beginning, and then it's kind of like it eases off, and then now you're introduced to, oh well, maybe it's about parents because Jisoo has no parents, but this girl has parents, seemingly well-intentioned parents. But is it about parents? And by the time we get to the end of episode 3, it's
we'll see what they thought, who they're trying to blame.
Well, like I said, they hit you with it. It's like I said, this whole thing is a critique on capitalism.
You brought up an interesting point where you're like, isn't he a top student? Why is he, especially in this culture, aren't good students, aren't they revered? Like, isn't that what everybody wants?
Yeah.
But remember in the beginning, the first episode, how the kids were a little, there was some ruckus going on, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's not quite the image that I thought of schools in Korea.
Yeah.
That they're a little more well behaved. Not that they were doing anything bad, but I mean,
they were rowdy.
They were a little rowdy, and I was wondering, so is there a shift going on in the school system?
Cultural shift. Yeah.
So remember.
So not just capitalism, but I hate saying the word Western.
Well, this is what I was thinking.
It's a Western European.
So this is what I was thinking. Here in the U.S., there was a shift when, remember, like if you watch Grease, the jocks, they were dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And smart people were nerdy, and then there was a little bit of a shift.
Oh yeah.
Here in our culture, where now nerdy people are like, ooh, they're smart, they know computers, they can do things.
Yeah, but they're still nerds. They're still trapped in those nerd bodies.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it exactly like that.
But they're not seen they're not portrayed the way they used to be portrayed.
Right.
That's
literally less. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of there's a little more respect, and then athletes. Everybody wants to be. Everybody's athletic now. There's a big push here. So I'm wondering if that could be happening. That's what this drama is portraying.
Is the movement towards cool.
Yeah, so now being smart is not necessarily that cool.
Bingo.
Because you're right. He's supposedly one of the top students because the counselor kind of
the counselor clearly stated this dude is off the charts smart.
I would love to know that if that's what's happening there.
Clearly, look, I'm going to tell you flat out, based on just this drama, but all the other dramas that I've seen, and remember, I'm going to do a little thing with All of Us Are Dead. This classroom situation that you're talking about is becoming way more prominent, and it's the pursuit of cool, which is definitely a Western capitalist kind of thing, right? Because it is what it is, right? It literally is what it is. The pursuit of cool gets you to chase fashion and makes you spend money, and in a way that the pursuit of smarts or pursuit of being the number one student in class does not. And so, like I said, so this pursuit of cool is definitely, like I said, Western influence, capitalism being pushed into this space, and then
it's a little okay. I believe you. I'm just trying to figure it out because you brought up like fashion, but I feel like the Asian cultures are way more advanced than we are in fashion. And but then now you're talking about capitalism, which is a Western thing that we've been doing for a while. But then you just said, it's a pursuit of fashion. And so
The
I don't
pursuit
know.
of cool, not
Cool.
fashion. The
Oh, but you
pursuit
did
of
bring
cool.
that up.
Yeah, but fashion is part of being cool, but it's not. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, right? It's like there's all this fashion
But also they
out
have
there
a
in the universe, but
deeper culture. They're homogenous. They got, than us. So there's
yeah, there's definitely not as many ethnicities as what we have here in the United
so they
States.
have their culture. They have their culture and it's set.
Yeah.
So
While the United States, we're like all over the place when it comes to like what's our baseline culture. It tends to be that,
okay.
middle
So
class white, upper middle class white, but there's so many different routes that you can go in regard, especially in the pursuit of being cool. The pursuit of being cool is not upper middle class necessarily and white, but the pursuit of being cool is is a lasting thing when it comes to teenagers and pushes them in a very different direction than if you're trying to pursue being smart or the number one person in class and stuff like that. That is like I said, that's the battle that's happening here because he shouldn't he should not be seen as a loser. What he's been able to accomplish so far without parents, he shouldn't be seen as a loser. And yet that is how the classroom is treating him. And now we have to reconcile, like the culture has to reconcile what is it about this guy? What is it about these students nowadays? What is it about this girl, Reed? And we're going to continue to see that unfold.
So this is where we get a hint here that she's interested. She knows he's doing something. She knows there's something going on because she's putting, because we see them together. And she's asking about his job, and he's like, well, it's something you do alone, because she's like, I want in.
Yeah, she's like, it seems like you got great hours. Yeah.
And you have, that's probably a little more in the next episode. But she's like, you go to this academy, which costs money, and you make money. And so she's intrigued, which was interesting to me because I'm like, she has money. Her family has money.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why she's intrigued.
This is why I hate her.
Okay. Let's keep going. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay.
I feel like until she's in this club, right? There's one person, so I feel like she's trying to use, right at this point, she's a little bit of reverse psychology. To be like, I guess you can't join the club. And but anyways, he has a little bit of a crush on her, so he's like, I can do it. I can do that social.
Yeah, for sure.
What is he? His social
she's definitely, I mean,
he goes, I'm interested in the social issues and stuff.
Yeah, she's definitely being established as manipulative, and that's another reason why I don't like her.
He is excited. You see it when he goes to his locker, how happy he is because he likes her.
Yeah.
So we see Ree in the counselor's office, and I think she finally hacks. This is where she finally hacks into his phone. I don't know how.
Like I said, she saw something like I don't remember the scene, but it's like I remember that she looked at him while he did his password, and then that's how she got into the phone.
That's how Lana got my password. I mean, she was young. That girl's so good. I was putting my password in.
Only like 2.
Yeah, but she was like numbers. 7. She's like, yeah, literally, she was like, okay, I got it, and she knew. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so Sue has another phone, and he's trying to figure out. He has a tracking device, so he's trying to. He knows that his phone is somewhere at school.
Yes.
And so this is the scene where he goes there and he messes up that whole birthday party. So this is our other actress in here, Minhee. So remember, she's the one that had that little issue where remember she went in for the job and she wasn't supposed to.
Yes.
And they had to come and get her out.
Yeah, she was not safe.
Yeah. And she was the one at it's all going to come back if you don't remember. She was the one at the hotel.
Yeah.
And she had to sneak out because the detectives.
She was the second one, because the first one
Yeah.
seems to be,
Yeah, not that one.
Yeah.
That's the first one is the one that got her hair cut. That was the
Yes.
first scene. She's the second one that went to the, it was a setup.
yes,
To-
yeah, the one that was a setup, and
get
she
the boss
went in,
guy
and
with
she
her.
went in unprotected.
Yeah,
went in
she
without-
wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's when Sue was at the coffee shop with Ree.
Mhm.
Okay, so now that we're established
Yeah, we're good.
where we are. Well, she's having this little, what is it, 100-day birthday or
100-day related,
Yeah.
yeah,
So they're having,
anniversary.
so this is where Sue messes up. He trips. They spills the cake. They drop the cake. All because of him, and he gets beat up by her boyfriend.
Yep.
And you see, she has a little flashback of her. So
Yeah.
I think that's to kind of set you up, like she had, it's still in her head. She has
She
some kind of
has,
issues.
yeah, post-traumatic
Yeah,
stress.
because that's going to come back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she tries to stop it or something, she goes and tries to get her boyfriend to stop beating up on him.
Mhm.
And then this whole thing really kind of messed me up. So then there's this man that's there that, and everybody leaves, and it's Sue's father.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute. I'm like, wait, I thought he didn't have parents. He said his parents just left. He didn't say they died, did they?
I don't remember.
That's why I was confused. I was thinking his parents were probably, died or something, but they just left. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, so it's his father. His father shows up.
Yep.
They go out to eat,
Mhm.
and his father's asking him to come back
Yep.
and live with me. And Sue's like, no, like, I know what you're doing. I don't have money. I'm not talking to mom,
Yeah.
and he Sue kind of like flips out a little bit, right? They start yelling and he runs out. Also, too, because he sees that his phone Ree walks by the restaurant and she
Yeah.
has his phone. So I think he sees that.
Yeah, he sees it on his phone. Yeah.
Yeah, so he runs out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this program called Ding Communications.
Mm-hmm.
So we see that in a scene, and that's where there's messages, there's job requests, help requests. I guess that's what they're using.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a fake one or
probably the
a real one.
Korean equivalent of Craigslist or something like that.
Something
right, just something that'll just push this along. Yeah.
God, what's so interesting is how he's able to do this thing that he's doing, and how being like Cash App, we use Cash App and Venmo, and how easy it is to transfer money to do jobs.
Oh yeah.
Because I think I mention it on episode 1 where there was a show I was watching where people said, they were committing a crime by somebody else by accepting jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would say like, hey, pick up this
Oh
item
yeah.
and take it somewhere, and then they just pay them through the app and they don't know who it is, but they don't know that those are all like each different person that is accepting a job, they are in the process of committing this crime. And they're like, no, I don't know. Somebody told me just to drive this van and leave it here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person's like, I was just told to pick this up, put it in the van and drive it. So they're committing this huge crime,
right?
And they have no idea.
Exactly.
So anyways, this was interesting to see that they can accept these jobs and be paid, and they don't know. They call him uncle.
Yep.
All the girls call Sue uncle.
Yeah.
And they have
both of them. Yeah.
They have no idea who he is.
They have no idea who he is. I mean, honestly, if they did know who he was, I think that it would ruin the integrity of his business.
It would, because they're looking at him probably as an old, wise person. I don't mean wise in a good way, but just.
Oh, honestly, I think they see him as like a thugged out gangster who really could protect them if, if things went down, they would really protect him.
But yeah.
He's just a kid.
So this is a scene where we see Minhee have her little anxiety attack.
Okay.
Because she goes on a job and she has to call for help.
Yeah, she goes on it. Yeah, because Ree is manipulate or just send her on the job and doesn't even know what she's doing.
Remember Sue doesn't have his phone. Yeah. Ree has the phone, and there was a job.
And she accepted.
And she
just.
And I don't think they all know what's happening. Ree's just still trying to figure out what he's doing, and so. gosh, this could
which
have
is
been so
another thing
dangerous.
that I hate about her.
Okay. Yes, yeah. Um, so Chael, what are they calling him? What does Ree call him? Like the bodyguard type of guy? She has a name for him. But
Right, let's just call him
in,
bodyguard right now.
yeah, well, his name is Chael. So he has to show up and then she says, don't tell uncle because she wants to continue this position, this
Right.
job, and she thinks she's going to be let go.
Yeah.
So basically, she is traumatized from the last
Yes.
job she was on.
Mhm.
And then so we see them talking at a restaurant, and Ree is there with the phone,
Mhm.
and I couldn't figure out, does Chael know something's going on because he calls, the phone rings, and Ree's right there.
Yeah.
And then he walks by kind of slow, and I thought he was going to catch her,
Mhm.
but I think he figured something out.
Then Ree acts like she's on the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she acts like it, but I'm wondering if he. But later
he's definitely connecting some dots.
Well, yeah, obviously because he also knows uncle is not working right now. Something's going on.
Yeah.
He even asked him, like, is with your
everything
phone?
okay? Yeah.
What's going on with your phone? And we also see like there's like a level of respect here
Mhm.
because I think, well, let me finish talking about this because Sue sends Lee a message on an old phone. And then Ree actually, this is where she really is figuring something out because she calls Sue and asks him about like specifics. How many girls do you have?
Mhm.
Like she's asking him specifics.
Yeah, but he doesn't know it's her.
That's right.
It's a burner. Yeah, so she has
So
like
Sue
either a
doesn't
burner
know
phone.
Ree.
Yeah, she picked up a burner phone or something like
But
that. Or,
she sees she cracks open the phone. Well,
actually, or maybe she's even using the phone that she's got.
But remember, she changes her voice too.
Yeah,
whatever he doesn't know it's her. She knows, but she looks through his camera roll. And remember, he has all those pictures
of him
with money because that's when she asks him, "Is this real?" And remember, she changes her voice when she calls him.
Correct.
So she's like, "Is this real? The picture of you with the money?" And then I think this is where does
Then she starts to blackmail.
Is the Sue does he send Chael, the bodyguard, his location of his lost phone? Because now Chael has on his phone, he has a location of Sue. And that remember that's where he goes following.
Yeah.
And he sees Ree up on the building.
He sees a girl. Yeah.
So at that point, I'm wondering, is he thinking that uncle is the girl?
Maybe.
That's what I wasn't sure about. Or does he really know who uncle is? We don't know. At this point, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like there's a part of me that it's like I actually understand the bodyguard better than maybe like all the characters combined. No, I understand Sue's character also, but and respect what's going on. But it's like the bodyguard is like, although he's like trying to connect dots and stuff like that, honestly, he's got a good thing going. And so he's not invested in like busting this thing up. It's just he's just like, oh well.
He's living in his van. He's just living in his van and
he's got a good thing going on.
He has money and he's cool.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, and hopefully they do. Honestly, I'm more intrigued like about his backstory.
Me too.
Like I want to find out a little bit more about him. A lot more about him actually.
Because his personality is coming off where he seems to be a little like fatherly, like a little paternal with the girls. But there doesn't seem to be any judgment.
Yes.
And I'm like, how can you be like that? You're knowing what these girls are doing. And we'll see a little bit when he talks to Minhee. When he talks to Minhee later.
Yeah, he's like, so some people need to get out the business. It's like
he's just so calm about
early, and you are that.
Not the type of people he would not be portrayed that way here in the States. He would be a very thuggish, greed. It would be greed. Somebody like him.
You know what? There's been guys like this. I've seen movies and shows and stuff like that with a guy like this. So his character is not surprising me.
With underage prostitution girls?
Correct. Because here's the reason why, like, to me, it's like they set something straight in this space, but it's like, dang it, it's too early to talk about it because it hasn't happened yet. And so when it gets there, I'll talk about it. But they really see that, like, there's this thing in sociology about it's called victimless crimes. So what's happening here is almost a victimless crime, because if you take their age into consideration, it's not victimless, right? Because people would say in our society that kids who are not, that are not adults, they are not capable of making the kind of decisions that they're making right now. Therefore, we need to protect them from basically their own stupidity. There's no really other way of saying that, right? And so there is a victim, and it's the kid, right? And they're being allowed to do something that they shouldn't be allowed to do. But if you put this into these folks are going to do this anyway, and no matter what happens with us, they're going to do this anyway, especially Minhee, because Minhee, like, she's even said straight up, point blank, I am nothing without this job. Like, I got nothing else going for me but this. And so it's like, if you're going to do it anyway, and then she went on the unprotected job, right? And so it's like, so if they're going to do this anyway, the bodyguard's like, well, I'm just going to protect them.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like, it's literally like, no judgment. I'm just going to make this money protecting you. That's it. That's what we're going to do.
So this is where we see Sue. She goes over to Ree goes over to Sue's house, right? And he's getting ready to take off.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
Because she doesn't.
From what I remember.
So he packs all his money in the suitcase. She goes over. She brings him she brings him coffee. She's looking around, and they made a point to show the book, Principle of Mathematics book. Yeah. And then which I'm wondering, I don't quite get that, but then they show a flashback of her seeing all his money rolls on the thing.
Yeah, I think that was the more important thing. It wasn't necessarily the book, but we'll see if the book plays something.
But it was that he has a lot of money.
He has a lot of money.
Which, again, I'm like, it's interesting that she's so intrigued because she comes from money. I have some ideas, but let's not talk about it now. But I have some ideas.
Another reason why I hate her.
So it's interesting. So she's watching him, and he has that little crab. What is that called? A hermit crab. And he's kind of like delicate with it. And she says, and she calls him, in her mind, she says, an evil pimp who sees women of all ages, who sells women of all ages, including minors, is crazy about a teeny tiny crustacean. So she's, I don't know, it's just interesting how she's kind of okay with it too. And it's just so interesting that they're in this social, like this club, social justice club.
Yeah.
And they got this huge thing going on, and she's okay with it.
I don't know if she's okay with it. I think she's trying to justify right now, like, robbing them. Like, here's this evil dude. And then, but it caught her by surprise that he cared about, the hermit crab or whatever. But she's in it to steal his money. Point blank.
I guess when I say, like, she's okay with it, is that it doesn't faze her. She's calm about it. Like, I would be freaking out.
Well, she's just a master manipulator, though.
And trying to, she had probably be a very good CEO.
Well, she's gonna take advantage of somebody else's business. Yeah, I guess.
She's calm. That would be like a good business person. You're calm. You're slow to react. you know, what, look at
To
everything.
find out the information, and then
you pounce.
And then you pounce.
It's
Yeah.
kind of, well, her parents raised her to be that.
Yeah, she's a predator.
Yeah. I mean, even her mom said when something like that, like when look at other kids that don't get it. Look at Reed. She gets it and she applies the principles. Her mom basically said that, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool when she gives him a coffee and he's like, what is this? She goes, Arabian double truffle quadruple mocha chocolate, which was not real.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell that to Carter. It's Carter, can you make me a Arabian double truffle quadruple mocha chocolate? Because our son is like all into coffee right now.
Very much into coffee right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, we get bags of coffee. He's grinding. He has to grind he has to use a certain machine, a little, mechanical thing to grind the coffee a certain way. And then he bought us a
He knows how many turns he's supposed to do.
Oh, he does too.
He said 13.
And then he takes it apart. And I'm so mad because it's all over the kitchen counter. And I'm like, Carter, come put your coffee stuff away. And so he takes it apart because you would think like he's, you know how when you see people and they take their guns apart and they clean each little thing to make sure that's Carter. That's Carter. Look, with the different parents.
Gonna blow you away with a mocha.
With different parents. If he had different parents, if he had some bad parents, he'd be with his big, huge, I don't know what type of guns, taking it apart and cleaning it because that's what he's doing.
I don't know, that's bad parents, but different parents for sure.
Different parents. So anyways, I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
And so she's there together in the apartment. You're probably not liking her at all right now because she's in the bathroom pretending she's going to the bathroom. Oh my God, to the point where she has to fill up water so she can pretend she's peeing. I'm like, who pees that much?
Yeah.
But anyways, so she's manipulating him to tell him, let's meet. I'm going to give you your phone. So he takes off. This is where the father shows up.
She tries to jack his money first. Be clear about that. She tried to steal his money first.
She's looking around the room.
She finds it, but she wasn't able to open up the thing. And so let's be clear. She's a thief.
Yeah, she's trying to take his money.
She's trying to steal. Well, I mean, like I said, and her justification is, well, he's an evil pimp. So I'm just gonna take his money. And it's like,
there you go. Yeah, she's just like,
it's
bad. I don't. Yeah. Okay. I don't hate her.
I hate her.
I'd be doing the same thing.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You wouldn't steal from someone else, no matter how bad they were. No. You wouldn't put yourself in a situation where you wouldn't manipulate a situation and put yourself in a situation where you would steal. Now, if the money was just like out in the open and you had an opportunity, maybe, I don't know, but you wouldn't manipulate yourself.
I wouldn't have put myself in that. I wouldn't have even gone over to his house. I'm not that.
You wouldn't have never taken his phone.
I'm not that. Yes. But I'm just putting myself in her position and I'm like, yeah.
No, she's a freaking bored ass. Like, to me, it's like, it's visceral for me. Like, it literally is. She's a bored ass rich girl and she is ruining someone else's hustle. I have very little respect for that. It probably has something to do with me being, I don't know, African-American or whatever, but it's a thing in African-American culture. Like, you don't go wrecking somebody else's hustle. You don't be a snitch. Right? And we can argue about the validity of his business and stuff like that, which I can't. I was like, I keep waiting for you to talk about, like, to get to it, but it's like, we can talk about that.
Look.
But she is a bored rich girl who is manipulating the situation and taking advantage of a dude who is working his ass off. And I got no words. Well, actually, I got plenty of words.
I don't know what it is. I'm okay with her.
Oof.
I don't know why, but let's keep going. His father shows up, steals all the money.
That was brutal.
I know.
Honestly, that was harder to watch than her stealing. Like, if she would have stolen the money, whatever. But it's like him stealing the money, though, and the way he did it with glee, because There was no way he didn't know that it was his son's money.
Oh, he didn't care.
Right?
He didn't care.
He didn't care one bit. He literally just thought, I just hit the lottery. He did not care that he was stealing from his own son. That was hard to watch. I know, like I said, of all the things that are hard to watch, that was hard to watch for me. That was really hard to watch.
No, that's hard to watch. A parent, I was like, what would somebody like that be thinking? I said, a parent would probably be thinking, look, I raised you. I'm owed this. I deserve this. I raised you. This is the least you could do is help me out here. That's what I was thinking, that he's probably in his head. That's how he was rationalizing it. He steps on the crab.
Yep.
He steps on the herb, which was, that was so sad. And Ree's there and she sees everything. And she chases after him, trying to get the money back.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, was she really trying to get the money back because that was hers?
Yeah.
She's like, that's mine.
Yes.
And so she chases after him. So this is where Sue figures out that Ree has his phone. Yep. Because there's a scene in the street where he sees her. I think he calls her. And he runs over to her. What does she call when you do that?
Oh, she just judo flipped his ass.
I know.
That did not go. Honestly, that made Jisoo just even that much more. I'm going to use the word endearing. Like, he is someone who I like. I don't know what that was. It was like, dude, really, all you got is your braids. That's it. Chill.
That's it. Yeah.
And which he established in episode 1, right? It's like when he handled the protection situation, he had to handle it all by himself. He used his brains, not his brawn, in order to be able to handle that situation. And so I like that. I like his character. Like the complexity of his character is in his background, is not in his ability. He only has his brains. I like that. I like
it was
that.
So sad when he said it was you. Like, I just was like, everything, because he was liking this girl.
Yep.
I felt like it was hard. I felt a little heartbroken for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that was tough.
And so at school, you see Ree kind of stick up for him and say, I'm dating him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he backs away from that one. He can see that she's a manipulative.
Yeah. He was getting bullied, so that's why she was like, leave him alone.
Mm-hmm. But that's just part of the manipulation, right? Okay. He's just like, so you're trying to protect me because you want to be in the business. You want to take over my business.
Yeah, he's already, because she was already asking about his job, and he's like, this is where they go to the batting cages.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the end of the episode. And she brings in all those other guys, and they're all strong.
Yeah.
And she says, you need more people to work.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of just leaves it at that.
Yep.
And I was like, what is she talking about? We find out episode 3. You have 3 sentences for that?
Well, yeah.
Or you have something else to say about episode 2?
That and yeah, my thing is, I'm going to tell you this.
We know you don't like Ray. You don't have to say it again.
Yes, but the other thing is that you don't need, the motivation is not the same to have dudes prostitutes.
I wasn't sure where she was going with that first. At the end of episode.
Maybe she thinks she needs more, and they need more protective units.
Wait. What did you just say right now?
Male prostitutes.
You don't need.
The motivation is different. And to me, this literally shows like, yes, she's smart, but on this one, she's really dumb.
Why?
The motivation is different.
What's wrong with the motivation?
Men
don't need a pimp?
Generally speaking, men don't need a pimp. They don't need protection the way that girls do. That's one. 2, is that women don't have to pay to play. Guys pay for sex. Girls generally
You have it
don't.
all wrong.
Really.
There are a lot of male prostitutes.
I'm not saying there's not a lot of male prostitutes.
They don't need protection, but they need it to be organized, and they need a structure. They need a place where women call to find the men. It could be done.
I don't think the kind of guys that she's got are the kind of guys that you're talking about. And maybe, and we'll see how it all unfolds. But it's just, and look, folks, don't judge me too harshly. Don't judge me too harshly. Just understand, I'm working with the visuals of what's going on. I'm working with what's socially constructed in the space. The kind of guys that may need protection are not those guys. The kind of guys that would need structure are not those guys.
I see what you're
saying. So therefore, let's see how it's like. But if she's thinking that they're going to go out there and have sex with all these people,
well, I
don't know if that's even a thing.
I wasn't thinking more like you're saying the girls need protection. The guys probably don't need protection, but they need somebody to handle the business part of it. Maybe. No, you think this is something that men could do? Women need a place to go to find them.
Okay.
A safe, knowing that there's somebody that's making sure they're vetted or something.
I just don't. From my understanding, and maybe it's just me being a 50-year-old dude, and the world's passed me by. Women do not need to pay for sex the way that dudes do.
Well, I'm just thinking.
You seem very confident in this, and I'm wondering where the confidence is coming from.
No. But I've read an article of a guy that does this, and he's married, and his wife is okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't bring it home, like that's what he does. It's understood. They don't talk about it. And then there's another a show that I watch, and okay, yes, it is a show. But the article was real. Like the guy does this. This is his job.
Okay.
I hate when you say that.
It's I don't. I'm not going to believe something automatically just because it's written.
Okay, so this is an article about this guy's married. Yes, and then there's in my show, of course that's not real, but she's a high-powered business owner, CEO, and she has problems with her relationships, and she's like, this is perfect. I pay this guy and we do this.
Yeah.
And then she sees him later with a woman, and she's like, are you, done for the night or whatever? And he's like, oh, this is my wife, and then he just excuses himself. Like, I think that there is men out there that are married and this is their side hustle.
Okay.
If you have a high...
Do they have a pimp?
I don't know. That's why I'm wondering.
Do they need, I don't even know the word is pimp anymore, but
do they need somebody to orchestrate this? It's a business. Yeah. Unless you're like a hairstylist and you don't have to advertise because it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so anyways, I've seen that multiple places where there are men, and and it looks like a lot of them are married, and it's safe probably because they're married, they're in love, they have, they can just compartmentalize that and make a lot of money.
Okay.
So let's see. I have no idea.
Yeah.
If you're one of those, let us know how it works.
I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I mean, it just intrigues me that people can do that. I wouldn't be okay with that. I couldn't do that, but I don't know. Maybe it works for their relationship somehow. Some way. Look, we know somebody that him and his wife, don't have relations, right?
Mm.
Would she be okay if he says, like, I need it, I could do this, I can make a lot of money,
Hmm.
you're not giving me any? Would she be okay? I wonder if she would be, would that be okay?
That's fascinating.
Hmm.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what wife would be okay with her husband doing that. I don't know. Like, is it because they don't want to have relations? Or, I don't know.
I mean, you're processing a lot right now.
I know, because that's a huge thing. That's a big thing. That's something I would never want. Would never want to have a relationship like that. So I'm just trying to figure out how you are okay with that. Like, not you, but how, that's all.
Yeah. Money.
Crickets are chirping here and
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
okay.
All right.
Episode 3. Oh, yes.
So 3 sentences on episode 3. And so Jisoo and Ri hunt down his father to find the money. Ri tries to join Jisoo, hoping to expand his business. And then the third sentence, after a series of setbacks, Jisoo lets Ri become his partner.
Again, I'm interested in how this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We talked about that in episode 2. Where is this going? Is it going to go with them creating this big thing?
It's just risky business all over again. It's risky business Korean style.
I should watch that movie. I should watch it.
Yeah. This, like I said, the reason why, like I said, this character doesn't surprise, or like the flow of it doesn't surprise me, is I've seen it before. Like I said, it's not risky business. Risky business is different. It is different, and then clearly elements are different in it, but the concept is the same. Here are these girls who are going to do what they're going to do anyway, and the question is, I can make a whole bunch of money providing a service, well, just like they're providing a service, and it's literally just money being transacted. That's all this is. People want the services. People are willing to give the services. I'm just helping to facilitate this thing. I'm like an insurance policy. I mean, literally, you can take away any emotion in that space for yourself and just go, I am here to protect the girls.
Yeah.
In no judgment. I'm just here to protect, do a job.
Yeah.
I have a job.
I could see that person, thinking like that. So we have a scene here. Well, the intro, Sue is looking for his dad. I guess he's on the phone. He needs that money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you see the next scene, in the elevator, and Reese still hasn't given Sue his phone.
Yep.
Like at this point,
Hater.
At this point, I would be pissed, right? Because this is his job. He has to make money. And but Sue's not interested in her proposition.
Mm-hmm.
And she does make a comment. She's like, why? Is it because, you're a guy, like they're guys, and you're a guy? So I took it like, it's okay for you to sell girls, but what? Yeah. Is it not okay for a guy to do it? Mm-hmm. So she chases them out of the complex. That was
now right there. That was to me the moment, and I just jumped forward in it, but because there was that exchange, and she was like, "You're a pimp," and he's like, "Not a pimp." Like that to me was such an important scene. Because it lays, it's gotta have been there. I don't remember the scene itself, but
no, I think it's later.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay, so see, I'm just jumping.
No, that's okay. That's okay, but you're right.
But that scene that I'm talking about is like I keep waiting for it, but it's like I don't even know if you're gonna say it, but just now to say he doesn't even see himself as a pimp. He's not. He's like, I'm not a pimp.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down what he says that he does, that he.
He's a protection agency.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah. I thought that was a fascinating. That was so deep, and I'm like, that changes everything in regards to how this is going down. It's like, that is absolutely fascinating.
It makes sense in his mind. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That he's like, no, I'm not the pimp. And I was thinking,
I'm not a pimp. I am protection.
Yeah.
I'm not facilitating the exchange of goods.
I wonder how that started, because maybe the girls already had their thing and they're like, look, we need protection. And they're like, oh, well, we can provide that service. So they're pimping themselves out.
Yeah, they don't need any help with the transaction. They need help with the protection. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No,
if people are offended right now, I just think that was brilliant. Like the way that they laid it out, like to put it in such a moral gray area in that space, I was just like, that is genius.
He says, I run a security service. Yeah, and he's surprised. So that's
like, and he's insulted, like, I'm not a pimp. What's wrong with you?
He was like, what? Who? Me?
Because a pimp is also like they're making the connection also, and then in theory, they're selling the girl and they're protecting them at the same, in the same way that you would protect your store, right? It's like, so
this whole scene happens when they break into the dad's house. So they take that trip down to the other city. It's about 3 hours away. I looked it up.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's a whole day thing that they're together, and they go down there, break into his house. It's interesting because he's trying to unlock the door, and she's like, how did you learn to do that? And he says, YouTube. And she goes, YouTube with a question mark. Anyways, I was just wondering why she said YouTube with a question mark. Yeah. Like, do they not have YouTube? I know they have YouTube. Anyways, whatever, let's not talk about that. So the dad stole 60 million won.
Mm-hmm.
That's about what we figures. How much is that?
60,000. Remember, take off 3 zeros.
So it's $60,000. Wow. But I'm wondering, to her, is that a lot of money? 60,000? Maybe for a kid, yeah.
I mean, well, $60,000 to any. I mean, look, that's a lot of money to me, to us.
Well, she's a business person. Her parents raised her. She's already.
But that doesn't mean that you spend $60,000 or you've actually seen $60,000 though. But yes.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is, she's a business person. In her head, she's thinking, "Look, this is how much you're making a month. We can make more."
Well, that's for sure. She propositioned him on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying that to her, this is business. Like, it's business. Yeah. This is what she's been raised to do, to think. This is what they talk about.
This is a business opportunity for her.
Yeah. And so, and then he asked her, why do you want to make money? Your family's loaded.
Exactly.
But she doesn't say nothing. I think probably she's a business person. She's been raised that way. Yeah, I'm bored, and she sees an opportunity.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, right? We're supposed to have some kind of, empathy towards her because she's in a high pressure situation. Parents are kind of on her, even though they, like I said, they seem well intentioned or whatever. And maybe it's just, look, I want to make my own money. I want to make my own footprint in life. I want to,
She's intrigued. They're high school students.
Yeah, but like I said, for her to come crashing in on somebody else's stuff, it's just, to me, it's just disrespectful. I'm still not okay. I don't feel
that way about it. They're high school students. They're high school students. She sees an opportunity.
She manipulated a situation. Almost got a girl in trouble.
She doesn't understand.
And robbed somebody's life and is messing with someone's livelihood just because she's bored.
She's a child. She's not an adult.
Well, that begs the question of the whole entire series, right? It's like, can children make these kind of decisions, and everything? And so, but for Jisoo, I completely feel how you feel about me on this one. I completely respect what he's doing. Like he's he don't got no parents. He ain't got and he calculated everything that he needed in order to be able to be successful in this world. And two people are going against him, or at least two people are going against him on him just trying to make his way into the world. And I'm like, that's
Okay, so
that's
there's a
horrible.
whole scene with the father comes back. It's almost kind of hilarious, but he basically invested all the money into some fake cryptocurrency
Yeah.
site.
Mhm.
And so basically the money's
Lost all the
gone.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's important, but you see that scene where like he wants to stab his dad, like kill him, but he doesn't.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if that's important. But you know, he's angry. But
But I think it's clear. It's like, because Ree is like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, look, it's my dad.
yeah,
And so at least there's that part. I mean, like there's enough morality to Jisung's
what's
character.
interesting is that she has the same feelings about her parents, right? Because when she had that little thought of those
Yeah.
daggers that kill him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has the same thing with his dad
Yeah, well, in reality, yeah.
in reality.
No, well,
Huh?
hers was in her head.
So is his. Where he sees the knife to stab to
Oh,
kill
I
the
don't
dad.
remember that, I guess. So
Oh, I was just thinking, they have totally separate parents, different ways, but they both hate their parents.
yeah.
Anyways, she finally gives him back his phone. She leaves it on him. He falls asleep on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
but she gives back the phone finally.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene is where we see one of the girls from the group ask Chael to kind of, she's like, we can get our own.
Go independent.
There it is. There it is where she's like, we can get our own, appointments. We just need you.
Yeah.
And he says, no. He's
Yeah.
like, no, just wait. We got something here. And I'm wondering, that's interesting. Like, why it's a job. Why doesn't he just take it? He's doing the same thing. They just cut out the middleman,
Mm-hmm.
which would make sense. But he says no. And she says, why does it matter where the money comes? Because he said, don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
And she's like, why does it matter where the money comes from?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. We'll see if maybe they know each other.
Maybe we'll see.
Something.
We'll see. Maybe there's something there.
So Sue is having money problems now. He has no money. The school's calling him, to pay.
Yeah. I think it's a tutoring service or something. Yeah.
He can't. The school's calling him for tuition. He can't connect with Chael because he's like, hey, you haven't paid me. So as soon as you pay me,
we're back in business.
Yeah, because he was trying to start. Another scene that's happening, the detectives are back. The detectives from episode 1 that they went to the hotel because there was a call that maybe there was somebody beating up an underage prostitution. And remember, the detective woman saw Minhee.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at the security footage. So they're on to them.
Yeah.
They're on to them.
There's got to be that kind of dynamic. Someone's chasing them, so up the ante later on for sure.
And then you see the scene, this whole thing. I don't know if they're trying to connect Minhee and her Minhee is the one that really wants to work. She's gone off twice when she wasn't supposed to. She needs money, but it seems like it's all to give to her boyfriend, because you see them at the gaming cafe where she's spending money, and she even asked him, like, how do you really feel about me?
Yeah.
If I didn't have this money. And he's like, well, if I wasn't popular, would you date me? And so that was interesting. Let's see. And where did we end off? Okay, so this is where Minhee goes to see Chael, the bodyguard, and he's, in his truck. Yeah. He's just like on the side cooking his food or heating up coffee or tea or something. So he's like living, it looks like maybe living in there. And she goes to talk to him. And this is where he tells her, like, I know everything about you. You don't have parents. You live with your aunt, uncle who are doing fine. Why are you doing this job? Like, you need to quit.
Yeah.
So he gives her some advice. And you talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Like some people, you had an anxiety attack. You've reached your point.
Yeah.
You've reached your point.
You gotta get out this game.
Yeah.
Or else bad things are gonna happen.
Yeah. He said you almost reached your limit psychologically. And he doesn't want to work with her because she says, is it uncle? And he says, no, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To work with you. And
Yep.
so, and then the other thing to finish out this episode, they're having this big midterm. How he got back into school, I'm not quite sure.
He's not going back to school. Like the school itself is not calling him. Who's calling him is a tutoring service that he was going to, that was prepping him for the big.
Oh, that's why you said tutoring. Really?
Yes.
I thought it was his school that's like, you haven't paid the tuition.
The tutoring service said yes. So said that. So correct.
Okay. So
because he even listed that so that's my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, but he had listed all of his expenses, and one of his expenses was this tutoring service to help keep him.
Okay. All right.
And that CSAT is a beast. So now I know what's a CSAT, but I didn't learn it from here. I learned it from All of Us Are Dead, because there's a character there that was like, all the zombie stuff is happening, and I'm supposed to be studying for the CSAT, right? And then it's like it was a continual joke, but at the same time, I'm like, it must be a big deal, because here you are creating this joke, and we're talking about zombie stuff, right? And she keeps on saying, I'd rather die than fail than not get into college. Like so clearly this thing is a thing, right?
Well, in order to get to college.
And he already talked about it. Like I need to get to these spaces in my life in order to, and that's why I'm doing making money.
We know how important going to a high tier university is.
Yeah.
And so you have to study for those to get into. That's what everybody's doing. So this whole end of the episode, it's all about the countdown to the midterm.
Yes. And
we see Minhee try to leave class early, and her and Ree start talking. So Ree knows everything that's going on. She knows what Minhee's doing.
Yeah.
And so she tries to ask her and try to slowly, women are good at that. How she slowly asked her about her boyfriend and things like that. Manipulative, another reason why you don't like her. And we see Sue with another job because he needs money to start.
Yeah.
So
he's desperate to get that started again, but
he doesn't have enough money. Ree offers him money.
Big old envelope of money.
And
that's partnership money right there.
And she says
that's not startup, that's partnership money right there.
He doesn't want it, and he says, does my life look fun to you?
I know. See that right to again.
See that everything that you're saying.
Right there.
He has a hustle going on, and it's a joke for him.
It's not even like this is how he's living. It's like, I don't have parents. I don't have, like, this is how I'm going to get everything that you already got. You already got all of this. I am hustling my ass off in order to do it, man. I'm telling you that scene was just like, oof. There it is. So listen, thank you for saying that out loud.
Listen, there was a scene in the girls' house with all the girls. When there seems like there was one woman that kind of
the leader from the very beginning.
And she wants to switch insurance companies. There it is. He's not a pimp.
He's not a pimp.
We
kind of gathered about it.
Insurance agent. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And she even slaps Minnie, because Minnie's like, I don't want to switch. I only want to work with Cheryl. And she slaps her. So she's not in. I don't know. Something bigger. We're going to see how big their little operation is, I think.
Yeah.
Bigger than what we thought it was. And I don't know. Are the writers trying to say, look, this is the girl. It's who's to blame here? I don't know, that's how I'm feeling right now. Because at first you're like, he's a pimp. Ree's calling him a pimp. And then he's like, no, I'm an insurance company. And the girls are like, look, it's just an insurance company.
Mhm.
We're doing our thing. Is there, are they blaming somebody? Are the writers or the show, are they putting blame on somebody, or is there no blame to put? I don't know. Let's see where it
Like I said,
goes.
technically it's a victimless crime. And so I don't know there needs to be any blame except for
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to,
capitalistic.
well, there's the blame. Are they pointing to the problem?
Like I
Who made
said,
the
they
problem?
hit you with a baseball bat in it from the very beginning, and you just got to believe that that's what they're critiquing.
Okay, so this is the end of the episode
Yeah, this is short.
during the midterm. So we see Sue kind of freak out. His grade is horrible. The other students are shocked. They thought he was the smartest kid
Mhm.
in the class, and he had less than 0.5% right. And he freaks out and he walks over to Ree and he says, "You're in,"
Yep.
or something like that.
Yep.
Ooh, and that's it. Why'd you roll your eyes?
I'm not happy. Oh, this is why I'm not happy. Because when you're writing something like this, I already know like there's going to come a point where there's going to be a fall person. Someone's going to have to take the fall. Someone's going to take the fall.
That's
right? You got the
why,
detectives in there. You got all these layers happening. Someone's going to take the fall. And I'm already seeing the battle between these two characters, even though
listen, that's why it's called risky business. That's why they called it risky business in Tom Cruise's movie. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
well, I mean, I get it,
Okay.
but it's
We'll
still.
see. That's this Talk K Drama with Bruce and Alice. If you haven't subscribed or Instagram, all that stuff, we're on there.
That
And
YouTube channel.
These will be, I haven't put them on YouTube yet, but these will be eventually on our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. Let us know. Drop us a line. Let us know what you're thinking of this drama. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.